Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Let's head back to the studio and join the conversation.
And now we're to the part of the program where Ken Sanders is vying for my job, I believe. Ken Sanders with the Volt Report. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Just putting in that work.
Yes. Well, we got a lot to talk about here, don't we?
Yeah, you bet.
All right. Well, let's just get right into it. Last week on the program, we were talking about the Hyperloop, and the new plans were not out yet by Elon Musk, but you have actually reviewed the Hyperloop. So let's just start from the beginning and explain to everybody what the Hyperloop is.
Okay, the Hyperloop is Elon Musk's proposed fifth mode of transportation next to boats, cars, trains, and planes, and it travels, the popular phrase is 1,000 miles per hour, but exactly it travels about 700 miles per hour.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a pod capsule inside a tube that shoots back and forth between L.A. and San Francisco in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I guess the analogy would be that a person, if you're at the bank teller and you see the vacuum tube type of thing, and that's a very, very simplistic approach to what I'm talking about here, but that's kind of what's going on here, correct?
Yeah, I remember you guys saying that the last time we talked about it, in the publication that Elon Musk made on TeslaMotors.com, that details in full detail the Hyperloop. He mentions those pneumatic tubes and uses those as reference for what they're trying to do with the Hyperloop.
Well, Elon and I were talking about it one day, and I guess he just decided to throw that in his report. So
yeah.
So anyway, it's kind of a combination of a very, very low atmosphere inside the tube and a maglev, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was the speculation, I suppose. When he originally made mention of it, it was a very vague reference of what exactly the Hyperloop is or does to move at that speed. But when you get into the details, it actually reveals that the function of it is not so much magnetic levitation as it is a cushion of air that is jettisoned from the bottom of the capsule or pod itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's wild how it works. You know how there was the whole vacuum tube idea?
Right.
Yet it does involve airflow the way that it works, but it's not exactly a vacuum tube. It works more like pressurized air behind the pod that propels it forward.
Okay.
And there's jets on the pod itself too that are powered, through batteries or whatever, that are powered with the solar panels on top of the Hyperloop, and those create like a cushion of air similar to like how a hockey puck travels.
Sure. Very interesting. So is there a place that we can actually review the report online?
Yeah, there is a 57-page PDF file that's published to TeslaMotors.com at their blog page.
Okay.
Yeah, and that has all the information on the Hyperloop, and it's intense, to say the least.
So his idea now, Elon Musk's idea here, is that he published this so that he's not actually going to build it. He just published this, and then other entities can grab it, kind of like an open source type of report. And anybody who wants to build this now can, correct?
Exactly. He just put the information out there, and it was almost like he's challenging everybody to build it, because he comes out and he says, I don't have the time to do it, with the SpaceX Grasshopper and Tesla Model X coming out. He's trying to focus on that stuff.
Sure.
So, he's like, I don't got the time to invest in the Hyperloop. Here's the blueprints for it. It costs $6 billion. It'll pay itself out over 20 years, I think he said the plan for it.
And the $6 billion is from L.A. to San Francisco, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
So, do you know of anybody else that's interested in creating one from another couple points, or haven't you heard anything yet?
Ever since the publication came out, there have been a few people that have gotten pretty excited about making design models for it. They actually 3D printed some design models for it.
Okay.
Like, I think the company's called White Cloud.
Okay.
And then a company in Colorado called ET3 is proposing possibly making a 3-mile stretch like prototype. So there might be one made sometime this year, just for like 3 miles to see if it'll work.
Okay. Very interesting.
It will be.
So you and I will have to be the first ones in line to give it a try, I guess. Although going 700 miles in 3 miles is 700 miles an hour in 3 miles is probably not practical, but I'm sure they can get up there a little speed.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they'll do whatever they got to do to make it happen.
Sure.
I imagine. Sure.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the driverless vehicle that's cruising the Singapore streets.
Yeah, cruising at a very reckless speed of 12 miles per hour.
Well, that's probably a good speed to get people used to a driverless vehicle.
Right, yeah, there's no real risk there, I don't think. You're just trying to minimize that.
Sure.
Less speed. So, all right, yeah, it's really cool. They got, like, a campus out there that the makers of it are doing, like the NTU campus and Induct Technologies. They're working with another campus. I don't really know the acronyms, like JTP and NTU.
Okay.
Right, and so it's like, I think it's about a mile stretch that they're actually using these things on. But they have onboard sensors and lasers and cameras and, of course, a cloud-connected GPS tracking system that move it along. And it's supposedly, like, crash-proof. It tracks an area, and it scans an area. And if, there's a parking block somewhere or a fire hydrant, it registers all that information, creates a little 3D map in its motherboard computer chips, and recognizes all that stuff so that it can safely transport people from spot to spot.
And they're actually using this right now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a 2-year trial that they're doing with it to really work out the kinks and make sure that it's going to be totally safe to engage with flowing traffic in like zoos or theme parks, like wherever. So
how many do they have on this campus right now that they're running?
I believe it's 1.
Okay, and it holds up to 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine it's got like bus stop type of situations where it just pulls in and people can hop off, hop on, and it'll move forward from that point.
Right, yeah. A little pick-up point, a little drop-off point. It's got its little charging station point that it just travels itself to when it needs to recharge.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to mention, too, the batteries are probably the coolest part about it. Like, seriously, they're testing batteries with it is the ways they're like, I feel like that's, it's a driverless vehicle, and that's what's rad about it. But at the same time, they're like testing prototypes of superconductor batteries and like wireless induction batteries. And those are going to be, hopefully where the whole electric vehicle battery function is going to be going.
So is there something emerging from this as far as batteries go? Because that is a huge, huge issue for electric vehicles right now.
Yeah, right, exactly. And a lot of people that are, that aren't so into the eco-friendly aspect of electric vehicles are like, oh, the batteries, they're just as bad for the environment and everything.
Sure.
Right, so like the superconductor batteries are going to be smaller, hold more energy, they last longer, they charge quicker, and that is the part of the technology that NTU, the campus, that's transporting, hosting the thing, transporting around. That's what they're working on, is the batteries. Interesting.
Very, very interesting. We'll have to keep following that then, Ken. So, okay, last on the list, we're coming up against the clock here. Computer glasses are coming out by Recon Jet, and they're similar to Google goggles.
It seems like the function of them are similar. The camera's placed a little bit lower, I noticed, on the glasses.
Why don't we stop right there? Why don't you explain to everybody what Google goggles are?
Oh, okay. Google goggles are the micro computer glasses that function like a smartphone, but they're in your glasses, and you have a little miniature screen on the glasses that, as close to your eye as it gets, it looks like you're looking at a full-size computer screen.
Okay. And it'll identify, like, if you're in, I guess we're going to run out of time here, but it'll actually, if you walk up to a restaurant, you have them on, and a friend's in the restaurant, it'll actually tell you that friend is there, or whatever. There's all kinds of cool things it'll do.
Right. So,
okay.
Yeah, so facial recognition, it does everything. It's pre-orders now for February ship out at Jet Instruments.
Oh, okay. Okay, so are these going to work with Google then, or what's the deal with that?
No, they're a competitor to Google, and they're putting their computer glasses out before.
All right. Well, Ken, it's a pleasure as usual. Look forward to talking to you again next week. And for everybody else, thank you for enjoying the program today. And we'll see you next or however that goes, Jim. I forget. Yeah, something like that. Take care, everybody.
You've been listening to The Tech Ranch, live and local on Super Talk 1270. Keep ahead of the trends.
Tune in every Monday morning at 11 a.m. for The Tech Ranch.
Exclusively here on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
Podcasts of this and other shows are now available on supertalk1270.com.